Morning, peeps. What's good? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully you're all okay. Yeah, I know I always say that, but it's true. I do hope that you're all okay. Quick rant about EE. I am with EE, and my contract ends in like 2 months. So they've started sending me sort of texts and emails and whatnot about upgrading. I have no interest in upgrading. My phone works or worked perfectly fine. So all I really need is a SIM, right? I don't need another phone. I'm not one of those people that like to buy the latest gadgets. It's just not me. So it's clear that I have no intention of upgrading. They've offered me a free upgrade. I'm not buying it. I'm not budging. And all of a sudden, my phone has now started playing up. It's almost like they have like this bot or robot or whatever that as soon as someone's coming to the end of their contract, they just press a button and that button sort of makes things stop working. And that's what's happening with my phone. Just a fucking joke. So I might need to buy a new phone. But I'm not going on contract. Yeah, it's just I just don't like to be tied down to things that I don't think are necessary. So I'm going to buy another phone offline. Obviously, that's quite expensive, but I think it works out better in the long run. All right, let's have a look. We didn't film yesterday, so there should be plenty of news and gossip that we can also gossip about. What's this one? George Groves still disagrees. I never ever needed saving in first FROCH fight. I think you did. Like who only George Groves knows this, right? He's the only one that knows the answer to it. He's the only one that knows how he was feeling. Was he coming to the end? Did he have more gas in the tank? Only he knows. But from the outside looking in, it looked like the tide was turning in that fight, and it looked like Carl Froch was starting to go to his final gear, which was the kill gear, gear 6. And I think he would have got Groves out of there. That's just what I think. Some people disagree, and you're entitled to, right? We just won't know. We're all just guessing right here. But the best thing is that they had a rematch, right? He lobbied for his rematch. He got that rematch. He earned way more money in the rematch than he would have in the first fight. I would say at least 5 to 6 times more, probably. That much more, right? He got his rematch, got his opportunity, was actually doing well in that fight. As well. And Carl Froch just landed that punch from the gods, and that ended everything, right? I think considering how violent that knockout was, and it was a violent knockout, I think George Groves done well to rebuild his career after that and keep on going. So congrats to George Groves. I think it was a good career. Made some money, become world champion, had big fights, right? Very big fights. Badu Jack was a big fight. Was that not on the undercard of a Mayweather fight as well? I think it was. Obviously, James DeGale early was a big fight. O2 Arena, 2 novices, really. That was a big fight for the British and Commonwealth title. Big fight in the World Boxing Super Series with Chris Eubank Jr. Final wasn't George Groves in the final, the shoulder surgery, not much left. But had some big fights, so congrats to him. What's this? White versus Ngannou. Eddie Hearn says really good chance it could happen. Okay. Boy, it's all about money, right? It's all about money. If there is money in that fight, and if Ngannou does want to cross over, it would be good. I mean, we've seen Conor McGregor do it, but it would be good for someone else to cross over and have a boxing match, because they do talk a lot, and I say they as in MMA stars, do talk a lot about their hands being good. It would be good to see a few of them cross over and try and mix up in the boxing ring, especially heavyweights, because let's be honest, it still only takes one, right? That's the difference, right? It only takes one. And although I've said White would destroy Ngannou, Ngannou lands clean on that chin, lights out. Right, it's proven that in MMA, right? He catches you, boy, it's gonna hurt, and it could be a knockout. So who knows? Who knows? I would tune in to watch it. So would everyone else in the boxing and MMA world. All right, what's this one? Gervonta Davis is motivated by skeptics who underestimate him. Look, I don't think we underestimate his talent, right? I mean, I think we all can agree that Gervonta Davis is a good boxer. At 130 or 135 is a problem for anyone. Anyone. Even, look, I think Loma schools him, but don't get it twisted. It'll be a problem for Loma, right? I mean, we know Gervonta Davis can box. I think we underestimate him when his boxing is mixed in with his outside life, because we know that outside life brings problems. And we've seen that picture before with Adrian Broner, and we just don't want to see it with Gervonta Davis. He's still young enough to kind of get rid of that crap and just focus solely on boxing, right? He's only 24. You can do all this shit you do outside of boxing once boxing's over, right? Boxing could be over for him in 8-9 years. Then you've got all your life to do the crap. So we definitely do not underestimate him when it comes to boxing talent. I've always said that this new crop of 130 or 135 fighters in particular, I think he beats all of them. I think he beats Teofimo. I've said this. I think he beats Haney. I think he beats Ryan Garcia. So no one's underestimating him, sorry. If that's what he thinks, then he's completely wrong. Jean Pascal, I returned to boxing to not leave any regrets. Yeah, he did retire, didn't he? When did he retire and then come back? I can't remember, but his comeback has been pretty good, right? He's had some pretty good fights. Solid career, Jean Pascal. Solid career. I don't know if Canadian boxing, I'm sure it does, has its own version of a Hall of Fame, but if it does, Jean Pascal should definitely be in there. Like, I remember my first time seeing Jean Pascal was against Carl Froch way back when, and he's still going strong, always looks in shape, puts on a good performance, will cause problems for anyone. The only fight where I think he just got absolutely dismantled twice was against Kovalev, and that was Pete Kovalev. Apart from that, every other opponent, he's put on a good performance. Kovalev was the only guy that just dismantled him, and there was no shame about being dismantled against that Kovalev. I think he might have retired after the second Kovalev fight, you know. I can't remember, but he took a lot of punishment in that fight, but he's come back and he's done well. And again, looks in great shape. How old is Jean Pascal? Jean Pascal. 37. Looks in fantastic shape for 37. Yeah, I mean, you look at the fights. I mean, his last two fights, Badu Jack, split decision win. Could have gone either way, obviously, split decision. And Marcus Brown. Yeah. Bivol, unanimous decision, lost. I mean, yeah, solid career, man. Solid career. All right, what else have we got? Arum doesn't want Stevenson to vacate title unless he knows he's staying at 130. Okay, so this is what I was asking the other day. If his fight coming up is at 130, and it is at 130. Obviously, he's got a belt at 126. There's good fights for him at 130, but there's also very good fights at 126. Obviously, we've all been speaking about the Josh Warrington fight. I'm not quite sure what happened with that one. Financially, I don't know if Frank Warren could have put together a big enough package at the time, because he was with Frank when all that was going on, to get Shakur Stevenson over here. That might have been partly the reason why Josh Warrington left and went back to Eddie Hearn. So let's see what Eddie can do. If he can convince Stevenson to come over and make that money, then Stevenson might drop down to 126. Gary Russell Jr., but there's been a lot of talk about Gary Russell Jr. going up to 130 as well. I think for the right fight, he will come back down to 126. He's a young boy whose body is clearly growing out of the weight, but for the right fight, and I think the right fight was Josh Warrington, unification fight, 2 belts on the line. Yeah, that fight didn't happen. He's gone to 130 now. I think once he goes to 130, he stays at 130, right? And then eventually he might join that pack at 135. He might just join them. And adding Shakur Stevenson to that pack, boy, that pack is just getting better and better at 135 with all that young talent. What's this one? Alexander Usyk smiles. Chisora can throw all he wants. He needs to land. This is in reference to a post that Chisora put up, I think it was yesterday, saying he will go through hell to land one. Like, he thinks it's only going to take one to get rid of Usyk. Like, Usyk's the heavyweight Amir Khan. Mate, I don't think it is. I think he can land clean on Usyk, and I think Usyk will still be there. Chisora, I don't consider Chisora a big KO puncher. I've never considered Chisora that. I think his punch power has got better, maybe because he's sitting in his punches properly, maybe he's throwing them correctly, I don't know. But I don't look at him as the way I look at some of these big lads at heavyweight. Like, if Chisora hits you, it's over. I don't at all. It's an intriguing fight, right? It's an intriguing fight. We know Chisora is going to bring it. That we know, fact. And Usyk, we don't know at heavyweight. Witherspoon wasn't the test we were expecting. Takam would have been a better test for me. Even Tyrone Spong might have been a better test. Plus, he's not been active. Plus, he's getting older. Plus, there's been injuries. There's a lot of questions going into this fight. When is it going to happen? Who knows? All right, moving on. Promoter Otto Wallin can be ready in near future for Dillian White and Anthony Joshua fights. I doubt he'll fight any of them, if I'm honest. You never know, but I doubt it. He made a name for himself against Tyson Fury, right? Good performance, hands up. I didn't know of him before that fight. That fight was when? September. By the time he fights again, it'll probably be early 2021. So he wouldn't have fought for like 16 months or something like that, 14 to 16 months. Sometimes you've got to strike while the iron's hot. Maybe he's missed his opportunity to kind of get in there on the back of that performance against a big name. I don't know. I wish him good luck. Again, it was a good performance, right? Not just like a lot of people will look at that fight and say, oh, Tyson Fury got cut and that's the reason. No, I mean, it's just a good performance. Cuts are part and parcel of boxing. It was just a solid performance from Otto Wallin. Very solid. Charlie Edwards inks promotional pact with Frank Warren. Yeah, I saw this yesterday. And this one came as a bit of a surprise. There was a time when I thought Matchroom and Eddie Hearn were building up Charlie Edwards to be one of their next stars. He obviously had that fight with Martinez, kept his belt because of the ruling within the fight, but then I think he vacated. I don't know. It is a bit of a surprise. To be fair, I did think that he was dead man walking at fly or super fly, if I'm honest with you, just because the Mexicans run that division, right? They just run it. So anyone he fought in the top 15 or 20 potentially could have beaten him just because it's their division. You could be ranked number 10 in Mexico and number 1 in Europe. It's just their division. And that kid that he fought, that Martinez, was he's good, right? He's good. I did think that they might try and match him up with Kel Yafai. Kel Yafai obviously coming off a loss against Chocolatito. I thought it might be a good matchup, but maybe they just look at it and they don't see any money in it, right? I mean, maybe they did offer him something. Frank Warren's offered a bit more and he's gone to Frank. So I'm not sure. All right. Billy Joe Saunders, main goal is to get Ginger Bollocks Canelo in the ring. It's the fight we want, right? It's the fight we want to see. Did you, have you all seen that Chris Eubank Jr. Kugan Cassius interview? And they ask him about this fight and he says Billy Joe Saunders has zero chance. Like, no chance whatsoever. I think Kugan presses him and asks, are you saying that because of the dislike you have towards him? And he was like, no, did you not see his last fight? And I do think we have forgotten Billy Joe Saunders' last couple of fights. It's almost like we've forgotten about that and we do remember the Billy Joe Saunders from David Lemieux, or we make the excuse that he wasn't really motivated and, you know, it will be a different fight against Canelo. I don't know. I do think Chris Eubank Jr.'s got a point, right? Let's look at Billy Joe Saunders' last 2 performances. Is that the guy we really think is going to beat Canelo? Not sure. He also did say that, and this is interesting. Like, okay, let's just get the question out straight away. Who would you rather see fight Canelo? Billy Joe Saunders or Chris Eubank Jr.? And not who would you think has the best chance. I think we all think that Billy Joe Saunders has the better chance. But in terms of a fight you would like to see, like an action-packed fight, what fight intrigues you more? I think I'd prefer, just from an action-packed fight, to see Chris Eubank Jr. versus Canelo. I do think that'll be action-packed. I think Chris Eubank Jr., like we know, can't outbox Canelo, right? So he's going to have to go to war with him. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to see. Whereas I think Billy Joe Saunders will box smart, and it won't be an action-packed fight. It might be a boring fight. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. So yeah, let's see if Billy Joe Saunders can get Ginger Bollocks Canelo in the ring. Right now, I doubt it. If it is going to happen, it's probably going to happen next year, May. But hey, regardless, still get his chance, won't he? All right, what's this? BUATSI. I have to learn to be able to hang with Bertabiev and Bivol. He's right, but I guess that learning only comes from step up in competition. I think we all want to see BUATSI step up now. He was supposed to fight. Who was he supposed to fight again? On the Katie Taylor undercard. I think it was Blake Caparello. Could be wrong, but I think it was Blake Caparello. So that was a bit of a step up, but not enough. We want to see him in there with sort of European level guys now. And then obviously you can jump into that world mix, which is a very, very frightening mix. Like the light heavyweight division, the top 10 of the light heavyweight division is very, very deep. But we do want to see him step up. I do. I think there is a world champion in there, but they've just got to, like, I don't know, they've got to just set out a path for him. But it all starts with a step up in competition. What was his last fight? Was it Periban or Ryan Ford? BUATSI. I think it was Ryan Ford, right? Let's have a look. Yeah, Ryan Ford, and that was the 31st of August, 2019. He was supposed to fight in November in that card and pulled out. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who's going to fight next. There has been talk about, well, not from him, but from Callum Johnson about sort of a British showdown. That's a good step up. That's a step up we'd like to see. But let's see. I do think he's going to go all the way, but we'll see, right? Dillian White warns Chisora, do you want to get brutally knocked out again? Chisora has been poking that bear of recent, hasn't he? He's saying he wants a third fight. He's better than Dillian White. He's going to go to Russia and help Povetkin in sparring, all this talk. He's been pushing for that third fight. Dillian White hasn't responded. Obviously, he's been focused on what he's got to do, which is get rid of Povetkin and then obviously, or fingers crossed, get an opportunity against Tyson Fury, one of the big boys. Look, this fight ain't going to happen again, right? I mean, unless Chisora beats Usyk, then obviously it's going to happen. If Chisora can somehow beat Usyk, then it's a big fight again. The only way this fight happens again is if Dillian White loses to Povetkin. If Dillian White loses to Povetkin, he has to start again, and the Chisora fight is a good kickstarter. If not, he's going to beat Povetkin, then go again, right? There's even been talks about Dillian White versus NGANNOU. We touched on that earlier. So Dillian White isn't looking at Chisora, and he really shouldn't. When you end a rivalry like that with that kind of knockout, and it was a brutal knockout, then that's it. You've done your piece. I know Chisora is saying things like the referee got involved and he got the point deduction, which is true. All those things are true, but the fact is he still got knocked out. The fact is he approached Dillian White. They both landed hooks. They both did, by the way, but White's hook was just, oh man, horrible. I think that might be it. Let's have a look at other quick stories that we can just quickly touch on. Munguia has a good chance to knock Golovkin out, says Beltran. Who knows? Who knows, right? I mean, I did talk about sort of guys at 160 saying it is a deep, deep division of good talent. I forgot to mention Munguia, who's obviously moved up from 154. He's a threat, right? He's as tough as old boots. He was actually going to fight Golovkin. Golovkin, I think it might have been when Golovkin chose to fight Vance. Golovkin actually was picking someone and picked up Munguia, and it wasn't allowed at the time because Munguia wasn't ranked at 160 or something like that. So he could have fought Munguia 2 years ago. Might be a good thing for Golovkin that he didn't, right? Because Munguia is tough. Let's see what Munguia can do at 160. It might be difficult getting him fights because he's big, he's strong, comes forward, isn't very skilled, but can take a punch and can definitely punch himself. Anything else? Wanderlei Silva claims $10 million offer from BKFC for Mike Tyson. Like, what is all this? Like, everyone is making or saying that they've been offered money, right? I don't believe that for a fact. I don't believe any of that crap. Like Wanderlei Silva has been offered 10 million. Stop it, Wanderlei. Please stop it. Right, let's end on this one. Holyfield, if Mike Tyson throws bombs, I'll throw bombs right back. Let's end there. Peace.